Should you use a profile, a summary, or an objective at the top of your resume? It really depends on you and your experience and the type of position you're looking for. A profile or a summary, which in my opinion are really pretty much identical, they're synonymous in my mind, a profile or summary. It's basically a section at the top of your resume after your name and contact information, which just highlights the top skills you have and how they're relevant to your future employer. And it's a very helpful thing if you have maybe a lot of work experience, or you're making a big career transition, or maybe you've had some relevant experience or specific technical skills that are very relevant to your future employer, but they would probably be at the end of your resume. Just a quick example might be you want to do global health or international development work, and you did the Peace Corps, but it was 5 years ago, and ever since then you've been doing domestic work. So maybe you could mention that you're a returned Peace Corps volunteer, or that you've had 2 years of relevant experience in Namibia, or whatever it might be. Somewhere at the top of the resume just to grab their attention. Just as a side note, you might also have 2 sections of your experience in that case, where you'd have global experience and domestic experience, just to highlight the most important experience for that future employer. So summary is helpful again if you have lots of experience, you want to sum it up and get the highlights right up front, or you're making a big change, or you're wanting to emphasize something that otherwise is at the end of the resume. But it's not necessary for everybody. If your resume is pretty straightforward and you've pretty much had a fairly straightforward trajectory, everything you've done is kind of similar in that same vein, same type of job, your education is similar, that you probably don't need the summary and you can just leave that part out. Should you use an objective? I tend not to use them that much anymore. I think they used to be more typically used. Typically it's for someone with less work experience, and it's mostly helpful if you're applying for, maybe you're applying for a variety of different jobs at a job fair, a situation where you're handing out the same resume to a lot of different organizations and you want to be specific about what you're looking for. If you're going to use an objective though, you want to make sure that it's really specific and that it's more about what you're going to do or what kind of job you want to have, as opposed to how you would benefit from the job. So make sure you don't say something like, seeking an opportunity at a prestigious organization where I can learn and grow. Well, that's great and it's wonderful, and probably it's true of everyone, but you also don't want to sound like you would only want to work at a very special fancy organization. Maybe you're open to lots of organizations. It's a little too much about how it would benefit you to have the job. So instead be focused. Say something like seeking a program coordinator position at a human services nonprofit organization, you know, serving children. Something specific would be more beneficial, and it would help the recruiter say, oh, look, this is a person who wants the job I actually have available. So that's another thing to suggest about an objective.